Can Batman ever hope to save a world that is so far gone? Can he even save himself? Well, let's hop into the pages of Batman Last Night on Earth, issue number 2, and find out for ourselves, shall we? Well, now this is interesting. The comic opens up with Batman having a nightmare, but a very vivid, realistic nightmare wherein he goes to visit Joe Chill, the man who killed his parents in Crime Alley. Batman is investigating the dead child in Crime Alley that kicked off the very first issue, but wait, Batman died after that, didn't he? There was no way he could have kept looking into the case, or maybe he did. And just to add another crazy wrinkle into things, apparently the dead kid from Crime Alley, the one who shot Batman posthumously, well, that was Joe Chill's kid, but that's impossible. He has no kids, doesn't he? Now, when Batman comes to back in the dark future, he's still being hounded by the head of the Joker that no one else can seemingly hear. What does Joker want from Batman? Well, he figures now is maybe the only time he could ever get what he wants, and that is to be Robin, of course. Batman says he'd make the horse Robin before the Joker, naturally. Which makes what happens next all the more tragic when the horse gets swallowed up by another one of those Speed Force storms. For a brief second, too, Batman is able to see the tortured souls of Jay, Barry, and Wally. It's made abundantly clear that if Batman stopped every time he saw some sort of hellish perversion of nature involving his friends, well, he wouldn't get more than a few feet. The goal is still the same as it ever was: reach Gotham City and defeat Omega, the mysterious person who Batman may or may not have created and who is most certainly behind the fall of Earth. It's on the way there, though, we get all sorts of snapshots of just how crazy this world went. We stop by at a place called Fort Waller, yes, named after Amanda Waller, where mankind had hoped to hold up with the greatest scientific and militaristic minds against the onslaught of doom. Why, even the forces of the Red and the Green took up residence there before it all went to hell. Everyone kept fighting over what small shreds of power were still left in this dead world, and in the end all we were left with were unknown soldiers, which I absolutely love as a concept, animal men, and a mad Swamp Thing with no parliament of trees to govern his actions. You gotta love that Snyder worked in Swamp Thing too. People forget he wrote that character in the New 52. Now, Batman's biggest hurdle to get where he's going turns out to be the Plains of Solitude, so named because, well, assumedly the crystal tech that made up Superman's Fortress of Solitude have grown wild now with no one to watch over it. It's a huge, dangerous crystal mess, which is made only more dangerous by the fact that Superman ships like the one that brought him to Earth keep dropping out of the sky and knocking Batman off course. Luckily, he's saved by the intervention of Old Man Superman, rocking a beard and a dad bod. At first, Batman is happy to see a friendly face, but it quickly becomes apparent that none of this is exactly right. Why would Superman be hanging out at the Fortress of Solitude in a little piece of Kansas when everything else is going to hell all around him? The answer is that's not Superman, not really anyway. It's a clone put together by Lex Luthor, who is still very much alive. Only Lex isn't evil anymore. In fact, he's been living all these years trying to make up for the horrible destruction caused by his doom proclamation. It started with trying to clone Superman, which was a hell of a challenge all in its own, which involved getting genetic material from opening up small time portals. And while all of this is fascinating and horrifying, none of this answers the burning questions Batman has, and that is, how exactly did the world go to hell? As Luthor explains it, he had meticulously mapped out one final showdown for him and Superman where he would, get this, debate him. No, really. Luthor's most villainous plan that leads to the downfall of the planet Earth all started with debate me IRL, Superman. Well, okay, it's a little bit more complicated than that. Basically, they would be pleading their case to the people of the world, what side they wanted to be on, the side of justice or the side of doom. If Lex lost, he would have to give up his life of villainy and dissolve the Legion of Doom. If Superman lost, he would be killed by a bunch of kryptonite shards. Superman won the hearts and minds of the people of the world because, well, duh, of course he did. He's Superman. That's kind of his whole bag, man. But in the end, none of it mattered, because the other villains turned against Luthor, hijacked his plan, and killed Superman anyway. That would end up being the beginning of the end. And Luthor's been spending his last couple years alive trying to fix everything he broke, starting with Superman, but apparently before that he also worked on a Batman project. Now, Luthor's sanctuary ends up coming under attack by Bane and the Scarecrow, who have gone all Master Blaster in this dark future. They're working for Omega, and Dr. Crane has managed to use his fear toxin to turn a bunch of the Superman clones clones against their creator. Don't exactly know how that's possible, but he did it. Lex and Batman are outmatched and outgunned, but luckily they don't have to fight alone, as Wonder Woman makes a big heroic return to save them. And hey, you know what? Lex finds that so inspiring, he pays it forward by deciding to open up another portal to stall the villains while our two heroes escape. Now, in the last issue, Wonder Woman had tried to persuade this Batman to join her on her next journey, you know, basically going to a metaphorical heaven, a place where life could start again, but she also knows Batman well enough to know that he's not going to stop until he deals with what's in Gotham, and so she decides to accompany him. They opt to take a very, very dangerous shortcut through the cloak of the Spectre, who now lies dead upon the Earth, and that shortcut basically leads them to the superhero equivalent of the River Styx, where Batman is further tortured by the souls of all those who have died, which at this point includes pretty much everyone you know. The worst one, though, has to be Alfred, who already fell to Bane and Scarecrow previously. Wonder Woman warns Bruce that if he leaves the boat, his soul will be lost forever in this purgatory. So, you know, he opts to keep his hands and feet inside the ride at all times. Now, when Batman and Wonder Woman reach Gotham, it is completely unrecognizable. The city has grown bigger, more gothic, more horrifying, an Omega symbol hangs in the sky. Now, naturally, one does not simply walk through Omega's Gotham City, and they all end up getting accosted by the Court of Owls. But these owls seem to be different than the one Batman had fought in his heyday. For one, they have a leader, one who is revealed to be none other than Dick Grayson as the comic comes to a close. And so that was Batman Last Night on Earth issue number 2, everybody, and it's funny, in the previous issue I heard a lot of people compare this series to Old Man Logan, and here in issue 2 I think that comparison is even more apt and also high praise. Scott Snyder uses that wonderfully twisted horror writer brain to give us some truly terrifying hellscapes of the DC Universe's potential future. But you know, it's not like a Cormac McCarthy novel or anything where everything is just so miserable that you don't have fun reading it. A lot of that is helped by the Joker cracking wise and doing his own commentary over events. This series too, more than just anything else, feels like the grand culmination of everything Snyder has been writing since, well, the beginning of the New 52. It's like they gave him the keys and said, alright, write your own perfect Batman ending, and now he's doing it. Overall, I'd give this one another 9 out of 10. Just really enjoyable stuff.
Hey there everyone, Cape Joel again. Thank you so much for watching to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, why not take a look at some of these other videos I have available from the channel. Then you can follow me on Twitter and Facebook at Cape Joel, so you're always up to speed on what I'm doing next. And hey, if you're feeling in a charitable mood, why not check out my Patreon page. Patrons get exclusive access to videos and content before anyone else, and you can do so for as little as $1 a month. So, until next time everyone, this has been Cape Joel, and I will be continuing to make more comic book videos that smack of greatness. Bye-bye.